Hi guys, this is Mitzi Newman with Century 21 Liberty, and I'm talking to you today about the terms of the contract and the home buying process. So today we're going to talk about the closing date. So this is the time that you're actually going to sign your loan paperwork, and shortly thereafter, once your deed is recorded, you'll receive the keys to the house. So what our closing date is we are looking for a date to set for us to close on the house. Is generally, if you're getting a loan, is generally going to be between 30 and 45 days. I say as long as 45 days because it depends on the loan type that you're getting. So if you're getting a VA, your appraisal is probably the longest part in the process, that and the repair request. So the appraiser actually has 10 business days to go out to the property and send us a report back. So that probably takes the longest. So if there's a delay in that, or if some repairs need to be done, that's what's going to take up the longest amount of time. Now, if you're a USDA buyer, your entire loan packet has to go to USDA and then be approved. So that could also delay or make your closing a little bit longer, because the USDA may get your packet and they may say, hey, we need clarification on this. So then the lender has to get clarification on that, and then they have to send it back to USDA. Then USDA, depending on if they are okay with the answer or not, they may come back and say, hey, we need an answer on this. So generally we can do it about 30 days. It may take as long as 45 days. I have seen a few that go as far as 2 months if you really are very close on your credit, or you just have some very unusual circumstances. So that's something that we do necessarily need to talk to your lender and make sure, hey, can the lender do it in this 30 days? And that also depends entirely on you. If the lender asks you for something, a copy of your W-2s or a copy of your tax returns, or showing that you get Social Security benefits, if they ask you for something, some type of documentation verifying that, they need to have that information back in order to go to the next step in the file. So if you take 3-4 days to send something in, that's delaying the closing. So that's something that you want to keep in mind, is when we write that offer, we want to get in contact with the lender right away and get them all of the different information that they need. Now, this can be frustrating. I want you guys to understand that, and I want you guys to realize that. Reason being is, so they're going to get verification from your employment that you're working there, and they have to do it within 10 days of closing, but they also have to do it in the beginning to verify that you're okay for that loan. So you may end up having to send documentation 2 or 3 times. It's not going to be the same documentation, because, so if you get that work documentation 30 days in advance when you're starting out your pre-approval process, and then all of a sudden you've got 10 days till closing, they're going to ask for it 10 days before closing again. Now, if closing gets delayed by another 15 days, now that verification isn't within that 10-day period, so they have to ask for it again. And you guys understand that this is not the lender, this is the government. This is something that they have to ask for, and they have to have in order to be able to close this loan. So if they ask for these documents, please understand, they're not doing it to be difficult. They're not doing it to harass you. They're doing it because that's what their loan guidelines are. They have to have this information. It has to be dated within a certain time. They can't change dates on stuff either. You guys, that's fraud. That's just something that they can't do. Even if it was sent in yesterday and it's dated yesterday and they need it dated today, that's something that we have to have. So please bear with them and just understand that, okay? So closing dates. Now, let's go back to that. So if it's a cash offer, we can generally do a cash offer within a week or 2. The main concern that we're really looking at is, one, if you're getting a loan, making sure the loan is going to be processed. And if it's cash or a loan, the attorney is going to do a title search. And that's just verifying that there's no liens or anything on the property that could prohibit you from using it. It could prohibit you from selling the property. We want to make sure that we have a clear title and that the title is going to be yours. So once again, closing costs, Generally with the loan, it's going to be 30 to 45 days. It is in North Carolina. I'm actually from Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, our days were set, whereas if we put a closing date, that closing date was going to happen. I need you guys to know and understand that in North Carolina, that's not always the case. When we put a closing date, that's where we're aiming for. But many times, that closing date may actually go above and beyond that date. If we can, we'll close it early if you'd like, as long as we've got everything done and everything's in place. But many times it may go a day or 2 or 3. So before making your moving arrangements, let's make sure that we've got what's called clear to close. Clear to close is usually about 3 days before the closing. And so that during that time is when you'll start getting your utilities turned on for that closing date. You'll start making your travel and moving arrangements, get your moving vans or moving trucks. And then we'll also do a walkthrough, okay? So I am going to talk to you about the closing process shortly. And I hope you guys have a great day. As always, www.facebook.com/Mitzi is my agent. My email is mitziismyagent@gmail.com. And my phone number is 910-978-2337. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know, and I'd love to assist you. You guys have a great day.